Hi guys, just wanted to show you a quick analysis on my problem with Übergeld and basically why I have to kind of rethink it a little bit. Um, it's all for the sake of locking in profits, in all honesty. We can't, uh, because there's so many factors that this depends on, the main thing being volume. Um, Übergeld tends to be a little bit unreliable at times. And in fact, today I don't even know why people bought calls. To be honest, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have risked it because all throughout this time, you can see literally from, well, again, this is West Coast time, so from 12:45 p.m. onward, it was just kind of ebbing and flowing throughout, and that's kind of risky. I don't like that. I hate it when that happens because that way you just don't know. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. Well, actually, no. The one thing I wanted to make note of was this shows the unreliability. At 6:30, when the chart opened, you can clearly see that there is an uptrend. Fine. But this is in no man's land. So according to our algorithm, we wouldn't have done anything. To be honest, we wouldn't have bought, we wouldn't have sold, nothing. Nothing would be done. Here, still nothing would be done because we want both lines to cross over and come back down. That's kind of the goal of this. That's for guaranteed profits. If you do this, this is a gamble. Um, and you could see that, yeah, you're right. I mean, there were red candles formed. And then it crosses again, and then it goes up. And here's the problem with Übergeld. It's moments like, uh-oh, what happened? No. Let me zoom in again. Okay, here's the problem with Übergeld. You see how it's going up, up, up in a way, and then all of a sudden it comes down, and then it comes back up, and then it goes down? But that's quite unreliable because buying puts in any of these regions would have made you lose. And you could have done quick 5-minute scalping, which the algorithm is capable of doing most certainly. Um, excuse me. However, we want guaranteed profits. Um, and this is just too much of a gamble, to be honest, because look at this. This continues to ride up the upper Bollinger, and it doesn't go away. I mean, look at this. It rides for 15, 30, 45, 60, 75 minutes on the upper BB. So, and in fact, even if you count this candle, it's another 15. So 90 minutes, really, on the upper Bollinger Band? That's nuts. Um, so this is what makes Übergeld unreliable. This is why I was kind of apprehensive about doing anything with it. The coder initially said that, yeah, if you run this with every system out there, meaning, Forex, futures contracts, you could make $1 billion in a year. He showed me the numbers, and it is true. It looks good, but again, these are the risks that kind of make it seem, okay, that there needs to be some sort of prevention to this. And the way we prevent this is by scanning for volume. So hence why there's kind of an Übergeld 2.0. So let me walk you through today's trade, or what would have been done today. So we're going to go back to the 5-minute chart. I'm going to go here to the 5-minute chart. We're going to copy paste because I'm just going to do weeklies. Let's go to 109. Let's go to 109 puts, right? And let's go to some 110 calls. That's kind of where it opened up, right? So as you can see, around, I'm going to zoom in here. Okay. Around, in 5 minutes, it basically went to upper Bollinger Band, touching upper Bollinger Band, Bollinger Band, Bollinger Band. And then it comes down. So in all honesty, at this point, it sounds good to buy calls, right? I mean, although you don't know this, right? So let's start from the beginning, actually, because I don't want to make it seem like I know the future. And the algorithm doesn't know the future either. A lot of these algorithms, when they're designed, sometimes they're advertised so that, sometimes in the algorithm it actually has a line of code that says, oh, we need to know the high of the day. It's like, how do you know that on your back test, right? You can't. You have to work in real time. So anyway, let's go down here, and I'm going to go to, where the hell am I going? Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, let's go back to no. Okay, around here. These are calls, by the way. Okay, I can't stress this enough. These are calls. Logically, if you were looking at this chart, you'll say, oh, let me buy calls, right? I mean, you're looking at the chart, it's going uptrend, I'll buy calls. But look at this. Wednesday, when it starts, The calls are actually heading down. Yes, they go back up. That is true. They do go back up. However, what if you had bought at the cross around here? You bought it at maybe 49 cents, even the midpoint, 45 cents. You would have gone all the way down to 33 before realizing anything. You'll think, okay, that's not good. And that's what Steve was mentioning, was it's entirely unpredictable. And it is, and so that's why the algorithm would not have done anything here. It wouldn't have bought or sold or anything. If we take a look at 109 puts, these are at 1209, 109 puts. You can see it right here. We're going to focus on Wednesday. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so Wednesday, you can see both lines are clearly below at 630. They go above. I would have, and in all honesty, we did a test on the algorithm, and we ended up buying around. Oh, this is a 15-minute chart. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let's go back to 5 minutes. Again, this is why I find the 15-minute inaccurate sometimes. I don't find it up to its best potential. Okay, yeah. This is more like it. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so you can see this is on 12/6, so I went a day in advance. Oh boy. Okay. This is what I was looking for. Okay, good. Crazy variability, right? But it's okay. The algorithm actually, when we did the test, it still made profit, which is kind of funny. I think as a human trader, you wouldn't have. So the algorithm actually bought it at here, and it bought it at 38. 37, I believe, was the final purchase price of this put option. The next candle, you can see that it actually runs up to 44, 45, and it actually ended up going up to 45. And this upper Bollinger Band, it's actually at 45. It's not at 44. But it went to 45. I think the algorithm ended up pulling out at either 45 or 44. I have to check. And that's, again, that's because of our number one constraint is take it out at the upper BB. We don't want to ride the Bollinger Band. There's just no use. Yes, there is another quota that states, well, okay, you could also ride it up to oversold, unless if it hits the upper Bollinger Band. Each one has a priority. Basically, whichever one happens first happens first. So we took it, let's say we took it from 38 and we went up to 45, right? So 45 over 38. I'm not counting commissions because in all honesty, with this high frequency, the commissions will take off 1%. That's my estimate, about 1 to 2%. So 18%, 18.42%, maybe we can subtract 1% for commissions, maybe another percent for fees, or whatever else there is. What the hell is that? Okay. All right. Anyway, 18.42, maybe subtract 2% off of that. That's not too bad. 16% literally in 5 minutes. I feel like that's a pretty good one. Now let's say it bought it at 4. Okay. Rather, let's say it bought it at 40 cents. We still would have ended up selling it at 44, 45. So it would have acquired 10% profit at that point. Now again, this was honestly a pretty variable day. A lot of times what tends to happen with Apple is it picks a side and then it runs it up for 15 minutes and then it backs down. But this, for some reason, it was just kind of playing around with the entire getup. You can clearly see at around 8:10, the algorithm would have bought it around the midpoint, so around 27. And I don't know, let's see where this thing goes. And the algorithm would have bought it around 27. And in all honesty, it probably would have sold here because of the cross. This is that loss prevention, because it doesn't know, right? I mean, the computer program won't know that it's going back up. And it actually did hit the upper Bollinger Band. But because it was crossing down, it probably would have sold around here or here, in fact. So we wouldn't have lost any money, but we wouldn't have gained any money either. I mean, it would have sold at maybe 29, maybe 30, and it would have been purchased at around maybe 27 is my estimate. The only reason why I'm using 27 as a conservative estimate is because the algorithm seems to be capturing the mid of the candle. Sometimes it is a higher point. So let's say it did it at 29. We would have actually we probably wouldn't have lost any money at this cross. So that's not good. I mean, that's pretty good. We would have had zero loss. If we had waited until the zenith, we would have gone to 41. So again, another pretty good profit. Um, but to stress, this algorithm really works really well in the morning, um, especially when implementing several constraints, such as upper Bollinger Band selling limits, um, crossing of the stochastics at this point and going above with a difference of about 10.01, 10.10. Um, and look at the calls, actually. That's kind of the funny part. It goes up, right? I mean, it goes from 109.28 to approximately what, 109.87. So you would think, okay, calls are pretty logical at this point, right? I mean, calls are pretty logical between 635 and 650. But look at this, 635 and 6, if you bought it at 635, you would have gotten it at maybe 39, maybe 40. And if you look at 650, you would have sold at 40. Actually, in all honesty, it probably went down at this point. And so it's like, basically what I'm trying to say is these stochastics don't don't bode nicely for buying calls at this point. So again, this is why this algorithm works, because it's so focused on only the 15 minutes of the first day, the 15 minutes of opening day. And look, within 15 minutes, it's already crossed. And so, and within 15 minutes, it already sold. So that's kind of the funny part here. Additionally, we can see that, if you take a look at Übergeld, so let's take a look at Übergeld, and let me show you why I was so apprehensive about Übergeld, because I noticed there were some definitive problems. Yes, it works for the most part, but there were some problems that would have resulted in loss. So I'm not too big of a fan of that. I'll still have the original code available, but again, there are flaws. So looking at the 15-minute chart, nothing would have been purchased at this point, even when it rode from 39 to I'm just doing this cursorily to 106. I mean, that's nearly 250% profit. Well, no, a little less than that, nearly 200% profit. But it wouldn't have bought it because, again, this isn't oversold, right? So that's kind of unreliable. Additionally, if I pull up the 15-minute chart here, and I go here, you can clearly see that this chart is wrong. Okay. Yeah, you can clearly see that this is actually still the 5-minute chart. I don't know why this is not changing. 15-minute. Oh, okay, that's because we're in puts. Okay, I see. Yeah, so looking at the 15-minute chart, again, it's still kind of unreliable because this just keeps ebbing and flowing. So that's my main issue is the stochastics are great. They're a fantastic indicator. I sincerely think this is a money printer. I definitely do. However, please note that in order to have a perfect buy and sell, it really should happen in the beginning of the day. Now, I was looking at end of the day. So if we go up to end of the day, and let's go to EOD and let's go to the 5-minute chart on end of day. So end of day, you can see, 12 o'clock, it kind of hit oversold, although we wouldn't have bought at this point. Because again, I want both lines to come back down and come back up. It has to do that. But let's say whatever. Let's say you ended up buying at like 12. So you would have gotten in at maybe around 111, and you would have actually ended up selling at maybe 131. So that's a pretty good profit. More conservatively, you probably would have ended up selling at around 11.18. So still good profit. But again, the algorithm would not have done it because look at that. Both lines are not below, and we have to have that. Here, end of day. This is kind of like not too special. This is entirely oversold. These are puts. Nobody would have bought these, in all honesty. If you had waited for the cross, which a lot of people on chat are doing, partially because of my fault, you would have bought at 12 and you would have gone at 6. So you would have lost about 50%. This is what I'm trying to prevent, guys. I'm working hard because we need to stop relying entirely on the original Übergeld. That there has to be a redesign. And this redesign is doing really well. So in the next video, I'm going to show you real-time trading of a date that I know happens to work. So I'll show you exactly what the algorithm does. All right, thanks.